Whew. Getting near the end of day one here at the VeraSage Symposium. What we have next, the next half hour, is not debt talks, although these gentlemen will be talking about some of their products that they want to share with you that are in this related space. So, and then we'll do the debt talks, I guess, beginning, I got 2:45, so it'll be 3:15. So Mark Wickersham, you'll be on at 3:15, so you're off by 15 minutes at this point, but we'll catch there. Baker, we're eating more and more into your time.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I know. All right. What I have now is a presentation from Joel Barolsky, Barolsky Advisors. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right. And this is a product that he's developed. It's called Price, High or Low.
Yep.
And you know, there's no commas in here. We have lawyers. Should we need the Oxford comma? Is it price, comma, high, comma, or low?
We'll check it out.
We'll check it out. Okay, check with the lawyers. They'll give you the proper, comma on that. All right, Joel Barolsky, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity to present to you today. We've got 15 minutes. So I'm going to go through the introduction very quickly and introduce to you an app which is not. Is this?
Make sure it's not on. Yep, you will be fine now. Go.
It's called Price High or Low. It's an iOS app. But before I launched the app about 3-4 weeks ago in Australia, and this is some of the feedback that we received from the Australian launch, and today is really the US launch. And so generally positive feedback, and I saw John Chisholm, and John said, look, this is worth checking out, and can I please come and present it here at VeraSage. So thank you for that opportunity. Before I go into the detail, I thought I'd just share a little bit about myself and the origins of the app. I'm not a pricing consultant. I'm not a tech person or an app developer. My expertise and background is as a strategy consultant. I'm based in Melbourne, Australia, and I've been doing this for around 28 years, working mainly with larger law firms and accounting firms. And for those who are from Australia, most of you are familiar with a firm called Beaton Consulting, and I headed up the Beaton's strategy practice for about 16 years before going on my own. These are some of my clients that you might recognize, so it gives you a flavor for some of my clients, and I particularly chose those that you'd be familiar with here in the US. I also teach a course at the Melbourne Law School. It's a course called Management for Professionals. Been doing it for some years now. Melbourne Law School is it's a fantastic institution. Recently voted by the Times in the top 10 in the world as a law school, and I've been doing the subject on the JD and Master of Laws program. So I have a sort of an academic bent and an academic interest. That's also about me. It's my family. That's my wife Tonya and my kids Asher and Bella at Mount Buller, taken about 2-3 months ago near Melbourne. And why have I developed the app? Just to explore something interesting and do something new, to find some passive income that's scalable. My intention is not to become a pricing consultant, and I don't want this initiative and this enterprise to distract me from my passion, which is doing the strategy consulting work. But I saw this as a need and as an opportunity and thought, let's give it a go. So that's a bit about me. In terms of the origins of the product from a market perspective, iPhones and smartphones are checked approximately 150 times a day by their users. They're kept within arm's reach 90% of the time, and a lot of people sleep next to their phones. So they are in wide use. Secondly, we have this growth in value pricing and agreed pricing and fixed pricing. Even with big law, where I work most, it's becoming more and more common by the day. And lastly, this area of when you have to make a quote, where you have to look to value price or fix a price, it's actually tricky. There's some pain points. And if I just reflect on my own experience as a consultant, some of the pain points, if I go too high, I'm going to lose the client. If I go too low, I'm sort of leaving money on the table. There may be future work volumes, or this is an ongoing relationship, so how do I price this project to reflect the future income stream? What is the value for this project, for this client at this time? So it differs in each instance. So how do I reflect the fact that it is in that moment? What signals do I want to send with my price? Price sends a signal around your brand, around your quality. So it's not just about the value, but there's a signaling aspect to it as well. How do I price in risk? There's a risk in terms of the type of work that's been done and not done, and where it might go, including scope creep and things like that. And particularly, how do I communicate my offer with confidence? How do I present in a confident and articulate way to communicate my value? So these are the pain points, and is there a way to actually help that a bit further? And one of the things that I developed and I've used is a little cheat sheet which talks about, do I go high or go low? So this is sort of different things that might actually shape your decision as to whether you should go high or low. Many of them driven by how the client might see your project, whether it's a business critical project, the degree of urgency, your competitive position, and a range of factors. But the problem with this is that it changes from matter to matter, and it also some factors are more important than others, or some are irrelevant. So what I decided to do was, let's actually turn this working sheet, which is a hard copy paper, into an app and see how that goes. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate to you today and launch today. And just before I get into a quick demo, this is some feedback from Australia already that I've had around the app and people who've rated it. It's the feedback generally from people saying this is a cool little Aussie app that's worth checking out. John was kind enough to give a testimonial, which is on the website. There's a great honour in nobility being paid what you're worth, and the app helps sort of get to that point. And this is from someone from Big Law. This is the head of pricing from DLA Piper, talking about this is the app's really worthwhile and really looking to use it more widely across that firm. So let's go over to it and give you a quick feel. How am I going for time? Yeah, 8 minutes, okay. We've got time. I might give you some more time, Ray, but hopefully we'll... this has just dropped out. So at the moment, the app is just an iOS app, and it looks like this. So we start off with some notional price. So sometimes you would have a price in mind. You might have your pump fist price or your hope for price, if you want to use that language. You might take a market price. You might take the price you've charged once before for a similar matter, or things, you've done this 20, 30 times before. That's typically the ballpark price that I've set. So it could also come from a costing sheet if you want to actually cost the matter beforehand, and that might be your starting price. So then what we do, so just say we enter $10,000 as your sort of initial ballpark. We then ask you a series of questions. So you can go, what's the risk of a cost blowout or overrun? And you can say, well, it's pretty certain in this case. How busy are we at the moment? Are we pretty flat out? What's the client's general price sensitivity? Oh, they're pretty price sensitive, actually. There seems to be a lot of accountants, actually, in the buying unit. Client's view of project's importance. It's business critical, and actually that's a really critical factor, so we'll weight that factor a little bit higher. And then how urgent, do they want it now? Or they should pay a premium if they want things sort of now. And are we in a strong competitive position? Actually, they're looking at 3 or 4 others, and it's pretty tough competition, so we might actually factor that in. And so our revised price is $10,800. Okay, so what it does is then it actually unpacks those heuristics or those rules of thumb that you've actually intuitively thought about, and starts to put some measures on that. But then those are 6 factors. But then if you want to, excuse me, what I've developed is 50 other factors that if you want to actually then introduce into the decision. So there's things around costs and constraints. So I'll just scroll through these slowly so you can just get a feel for that. So for example, cost of sale, if you want to reflect that or not. I don't think that goes with the theory around value-based pricing, but it's, some people want to do that, to think about if you want to price in other risks around reputational risks or reputational disruption or risk of scope creep, or if you want to actually, for example, put in the clients a pain to deal with, you want to have a pain factor, well, they should pay for that. So, you know, capacity to sell and deliver, complexity in delivery, how it fits, ease of selling or communicating our value proposition. Then issues around the client. You know, how does the client see us? Do they see us as a premium end player or commodity player? Is it our core specialization, or is it just a peripheral product? Does the pain points keep them awake all night, or is it just something that's sort of business as usual? You know, financial impact, import, and so on. So these are a range of things. Then there's competitive factors, the uniqueness of our offer, the switching costs if we're the incumbent, or switching costs if they're loyal to someone else, our business opportunity, and a range of factors why it might be important to us, why you might adjust the price. I'm not mad about those, but a lot of people do factor those in. And then you might put mindset, your level of confidence, that you know you might be generally an unconfident pricer, and you need to remind yourself to actually get paid what you're worth. You can then add any of your own. So if you're tailoring it for a particular client, say a construction client, or a property client, or a divorce client, you can then add in particular variables that relate to that particular client. So if I go back, I've just added one, which was a client was a pain to deal with, and they're real pain, so we'll go up to 11.5. Okay. So just adjust it, and then what you can do is you can save it, you name it, you can save it, and then if you want, you can also then share it. Say if you've got a colleague in another office, or if you wanted to share your workings with anyone else, if you want to sort of, you might do it independently, and then come to it, see how you think independently, and then you agree on that. So I think you get it. It's not rocket science. It's simple but useful, and that is the mantra in trying to develop this thing, was to actually make something simple, and people just can use it very easily, and anyone can use it, but at the same time be useful. In terms of how do I price it, and I'd welcome some feedback today, because there's a great irony of how I price this. And my initial pricing model was based on a freemium model, which was basically those 6 factors that I showed you first. So it's free for that basic app, and then a $5 a month subscription if you want to access the extra 50 variables, plus the ability to save and share and so on. The benefits of that is that there's an ongoing revenue stream, there's a sort of a relationship that's developed, and it feels a bit fairer to me. If someone's actually using the app, they're sort of paying for it, and that seems a fair exchange. The other option is just to go straight paid app, one-off fee, and you buy the app and you get it for life, and you can use it as many times as you like. And that's a common way apps are sold. And if you actually go to the App Store in America and you look at the top 10 paid apps in the US, the average price point for those top paid apps is around, $3.99, $5.99, around sort of $4 for a paid app. So this is part of the dilemma. And so I've started with A, but I think I'm going to B. And the people who have I've told this a few people here, and they said I'm absolutely mad, and because it is worth a lot more, and it can, any one use and it's paid for itself, 10 times over. But I wanted to go viral. I don't have the capacity to sell it. I don't have the capacity to have the value conversation with different clients or come to these conferences and present it. I needed for people to say, this is pretty good, I'll get it, let me refer it, or let me use it, give it to all my staff, and they could become more commercial, or just it makes it just a much easier referral sort of proposition. But it's quite tricky, yes. Look, it could be, I hear that, but then you get all the, would you make the initial purchase, you put a price in there as well? So to get the free version, would it still be free, or would you pay like an upfront fee?
Okay, yeah. I mean, look, I would go with B for the mass market, and I suggest developing an enterprise edition that allows more collaboration, like a workflow to send something to a pricing committee to have it reviewed and things like that,
Yep.
and actually having the customer have an interface
Yep.
of their own value factors. And I would pay for it, and I would pay for my whole team to do it, and I'll develop it with you.
Okay, fantastic.
Louis,
Thank you.
and then one more.
The option A, what I think, instead of doing the first 6 free, why not give the whole thing for free for the first 5 or 6
Usages,
projects?
yes. I can't actually do that on the App Store, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, then my idea is totally shot. Okay.
Yeah, no, thank you. I've got,
Constraints of Apple. All right, last question, Kirk.
I don't know if this is possible in the App Store,
Yeah.
but if it is, let the customer name their price. And maybe if you want it subscription, say, okay, how much are you willing to contribute a month?
yeah. No, I wish I could. I can't. You have to be it's all very, very regulated in that environment. So if you're so inclined, if you think it's worthwhile to download it, to use it yourselves, to tell others about it, it's actually free. It's still on that on A. It's slightly higher. Don't choose the 50 today, because you're going to then pay more than the 5. It's a long story. But if you download it today, it will be free. Maybe in the next few days we're going to go shift to B. So, but if you so inclined, I'd welcome any ratings, and for you to share it amongst your colleagues and contacts. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Joel. He will be he's here all night.
Right.
All right, awesome. Thank you.